Burrow airs it out. Chase. Hello. Touchdown.
And I got a voice inside that needs to be fed.
Are two of the best historically, just not thus far. Against these receivers.
Making the Junkins again, and there is Smith roaming free, breaks a tackle. Ohio State strikes quickly.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Maxon Report. Today we have Landon Hittle on, wide receiver, running back, among other things. How are we doing this evening, Landon?
Very good, sir.
Very good. All right. So tell us a little bit about yourself. What high school do you go to, and how long have you been in there?
I attend Williamsburg. I've been there for close to about 2 years now. Yeah, I made the transition about 2 years ago. It's been great ever since, though.
All righty. And just a little bit about Williamsburg. Where's that located at, just for our viewership?
If you go on 32 and you keep going for a little bit, it's on your right. Small little town. It's near Batavia.
Batavia, Ohio. We just had our last guest from Kettering Alter, so I want to let our viewers know we're shifting a little bit towards the Cincinnati and Batavia area. And Landon, where did your love for the sport start? We know you're deep into your high school career. You're going on your senior season, if I'm not mistaken. And where did it all start for you?
I think it really stemmed from playing young. I had a great youth coach growing up. His name was Mike Harkins. You may be familiar with him, but he really taught me a lot of the stuff I know today. And ever since then, it's been great.
And who was your biggest inspiration to get into the sport?
Inspiration was probably my little brother, honestly. I know it's kind of funny he's my little brother, but I was always a kid that was on the sidelines watching, but he kind of intrigued me to play. He kind of shoved me and kept telling me to play. So I gave it a shot when I was younger, and he really influenced me the most.
That's awesome. And when did you feel like you arrived in the sport?
If I'm going to be quite frank with you, I really didn't see much playing time until my 8th grade year. So I think just getting that appraise and beginning in the 8th grade and starting, that was really where I set off and where I began my journey. That was probably my most fun year under Coach Case.
And where was that 8th grade year?
West Claremont. Sorry, I forgot to mention that.
No, you're okay. I know you transferred from West Claremont, but just to our viewership, just kind of get to know you a little bit. Your love for the sport and stuff of that nature. But I know you die hard in football. Was there any other sports that kind of maybe sharpened your edges, or I know you dabbled in basketball a little bit. Is there anything other sport that you kind of do when football's not around?
Here recently, I did track this past year. Coach Rolfe, he's a great guy. He wanted me to come out for a few practices, and I really fell in love with it the first few days. But I think that's helping me with my speed a lot.
I had a coach by the name of Coach Flynn and Coach Thomas, which both I keep in contact with. Coach Flynn I actually had on the program about a month ago. They always told me to come out for track, so I would stay busy, productive, and not put on the negative weight. In the springtime, about to go into that summertime season, even though we were doing a little bit of conditioning for football on the side, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, they always kind of kept me out there it kept me active. It kept me sharp. It kept some speed up. Not that I was the fastest guy, but, it definitely had its benefits about not sitting on the couch waiting for the pool to open up and for the summertime to start, so to speak. I came from a little town of Williamsburg, and, the pool's kind of all we had. So they definitely kept me in shape, kept me in the weight room, kept me in check, and also made sure I kept my eligibility up grade point wise. So nothing, I didn't do the springtime slide is what they used to call it back in my day in 2000s. A lot of athletes would do that, like, oh, I'm in off season, so let me just duck down into the C minuses and D's of the world. When really, you wanted to keep that ABC going for average. But track. Did you ever play any basketball as well?
I tried when I was younger, obviously. Wasn't the best at it, however. I did try it at least, but I didn't keep up with it. No.
And when you truly got into football, which side of the ball did you truly enjoy? I know offense is kind of like your first love right now, but did you ever swing more towards the defense?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I started at safety, and then I think I would always see on Sundays, I would see like Tyreek Hill. I would see the Tyreek Hills. I would see the Jamar Chase. I would always see those big name guys, and I wanted to transition over to the offensive side of the ball because I thought it'd be more fun, and I think that's where football really took me, was the offensive side of the ball.
And do you play more of a wide receiver, or do you prefer more of running backs?
I think in our offense I can do both. However, I feel like I flourish as a receiver just because that's where I practiced. Like most of my technique is at receiver.
I mean, I think in this day and age, it's such a hybrid thing. Even to play H-back, halfback, you almost have to have hands. You do a little bit of pass protection, but you end up ultimately being that last outlet pass in a lot of offenses, whether you're running the spread or even, dare do I say, the veer, things of that nature, where the halfback is just so involved, even outside of pass protection. So I think having that skill of doing the route running and catching up on things like that is really an important part of the game. But tell us, we're right. So you get there your freshman year, you kind of got that validation in 8th grade. How did that all come about for you?
Freshman year, our team, that was when Coach Mahan had taken over. Freshman year, I really didn't see the field. Like, me being on varsity wasn't even a thought just because of how loaded our roster was. So I kind of stayed true to my roots. I was humble, and I played freshman football. It was a very fun experience. We had Coach Christopher Perry. Yeah, I think freshman year was very fun. Sophomore year was interesting for me because that's when I saw the varsity field for the first time. It was in the first game against Kings. Actually, it was a big game for us, and I caught the very first pass in the very first play. My guy Bo Rickman threw it to me. That really it was a big moment in my career. So I'm happy I could have experienced that. I didn't do much, but I saw the field.
I actually got to work with Bo Rickman a little bit before his departure from West Claremont. So really, really good gentleman. I'd like to catch up with him at some point. But, very familiar with Bo Rickman and the offense for West Claremont, him being a really mobile quarterback and able to really hit the guys on the outside during a scramble. And, that's been fun. But so you kind of get to your sophomore year right before you transfer, and were you primarily still playing offense, or were you dabbling a little bit on safety on defense as well?
Yeah, so before I transferred, we were running sort of like a spread option kind of deal where I would motion a lot into the backfield. I dabbled in defense, but I didn't I didn't start defense, but I did start in the slot. We called it our debut.
Very nice. And then you transfer. Take me through that because that really wasn't a thing when I was growing up, even on the high school level. I know predominantly with the NIL in this day and age that it's so common in college, but you make the transfer, you get there, you're kind of the new kid on the block, so to speak. And how did that go for you in the locker room, and how was it adjusting going from one program that you were diehard, Pee Wee, going all the way up to 8th grade and so on and so forth, to another culture, another locker room?
Yeah, so obviously it came with a lot of doubt. I was really scared that I was going to obviously have to sit the back half of the season due to transfer rules. But I was introduced to Williamsburg culture by my buddy, my good buddy, Michael Corcoran. And Coach Ayers preaches it all the time. He tells everybody that Williamsburg is a place to be, and obviously it's true. Everybody wants to come play for Berg, but that, like, going into Williamsburg's locker room was really about me being humble and me showcasing my talent and proving why I'm there, and that I belong on the team. And I just got to be acquainted with the guys. And so far, so good.
And just walk me a little bit through how are you guys rocking this season?
This season, we're currently 6-0. Better.
Yes, sir.
I mean, as expected. We always have a standard of excellence at Williamsburg. So I'm really proud of our guys so far.
I mean, winning last week, what was it, 48-6?
It was 51-6 at halftime.
51-6
Final,
at halftime.
Yeah, final was 58-6, but I like to brag a little bit on our guys.
No, absolutely. You guys are 6-0. You're first in your conference. It just, and that's a lot to be proud of this late in the season. You're not scrambling for the playoffs. It's it's kind of there.
Yeah.
For yours for the taking. You guys have, and let me know the Roger Bacon Spartans this weekend, if I'm not
yes, sir,
butchering their name too bad. Because I saw Bacon and I was like, man, I can't be saying that right. But the 3-3 Roger Bacon Spartans are coming to town. Big showdown October 3rd, this Friday, 7:00 kickoff. What can we expect?
Obviously our defensive coordinator, Donnie Wilson, he does a great job at getting our guys ready. So I think it'll be a very defensive game. A lot of people think it'll be a shootout, but obviously I'm going to give respect where respect's due. I think their defense is very good, just watching film. So I think it comes down to who gets more stops and who gets more turnovers.
I always say defensive wins games in the day and age where I think everything is just so offensively mindset, especially on the pro level, that defensive teams often get overlooked. But, in my era, I think about the Ray Lewises and the Ed Reeds and, Champ Baileys and guys that were absolutely just like shut down night in and night out. And, those guys were always in the playoffs. Those guys were always chasing the next step. And he's even thinking about the Broncos and the Elway era and just that dominant defense that they had with the, amazing run game. And I really think that teams like that tend to go further, especially when the weather gets colder, because these 80-degree days are going to come to an end, even though Ohio's kind of carried on some there. But it's going to be, it's going to be fun to see. And through 12 games here at your school, we have you for 1,361 all-purpose yards, 12 touchdowns, 8.7 yards a carry, which is absolutely phenomenal, and 16.6 yards per reception. So it seems like you're finding the right space and you're hitting the right holes, sir. And,
Yes, sir.
that's something to really be proud of. Like I said, 6-0. You guys are rocking and rolling right now towards the season. And I promise you, those carries are going to become almighty important when we hit the end of October, early November, when you guys hit the playoff season. And, it's freezing down rain like it was last year for many of those playoff games here in Ohio. And the ground gets super hard. And, they really lean into the running backs. So, I would just want to say what a hell of a career you got going on right now. And that's just absolutely, in my eyes, as even a coach myself, that's awesome, sir. So I want to really thank you, Landon, for, really bringing it, especially as a transfer. That shows that, a lot of adaptability there. And I think that's, in this day and age, on the next level, adaptability is something that is going to be in the scouting reports. How does he do with a coaching change? How does he do with the personnel change when they graduate, 6 or 7 big-time seniors? Does he fit in that role? Is he a team player? I think especially in NIL era, all those things matter. Stats have always mattered. Play performance has always mattered. But I think personality is something that in this day and age, and this is why I run my show, this is part of my mission statement, getting athletes' personalities out there to be looked at and to really put, a perspective on who the young man and young lady is moving forward. And, I'm glad you came on the show and we can get to kind of know you better. But
yes, sir.
A little bit of a less serious question. What does Landon like to do in the off season? So, that summertime rolls around, you get a little bit of a free time. You get to make your own decisions. We know you're pumping the weights. We know you're still in the weight room. We know you're there in early morning meetings and, everything that comes with that. But, what does Landon like to do in his free time?
Contrary to popular belief, not all football players hate to read. And I know it's going to come as probably a shock, but I do like to read in my off time. And obviously, I hate to sound cliche. I do love to hit the weight room, especially with friends. I love to go out with friends and pump some iron.
No, and I can definitely appreciate that. Way back in the day, I had a gentleman by the name of Emerson Godora that we would hit the weight room, even when the team wasn't there or unscheduled. We had a little bit of access to it, and we shut the doors and kick on the heater. And that's something that Coach Thomas taught us a really long time ago. Former Marine himself, and had a big impact on me. Going to the Marine Corps, I'll mention that story many times between now and the next interview. And we used to turn up the heat and just buckets of sweat, man. Buckets of sweat on the rubber mats, doing the crunches, doing the weights, pumping it out real hard, and, simulating those dead of August days when, you're doing those 2 days, you're hitting the field at 103 degrees with that beautiful Ohio humidity. And you're just begging it to stop. No more beasts. One last run, one last wind sprint, one last, lap around the field. Dear God, hopefully he tells us we can go across the 50 and not make it all the way to 100. But that never happens, and just kind of simulating that. So definitely think that's important in the off season to be, a little bit of a hobby. And nobody said we don't read. I read books. Definitely, I'm a Tom Clancy guy myself. Rainbow Six, Jack Ryan series. You guys play the video games. I read the books and then played the video games. Definitely something. If you're bored, I recommend it to any viewer out there. We're at 960 live viewers right now and counting. We'd like to thank everybody tuning in for this interview. Landon absolutely bringing it tonight, telling us a little bit about himself. But Landon, so you guys are deep right now, 6-0. You're rocking it. You're rolling it, and you're always thinking about the future. So if anybody was listening right now, what does Landon Hittle bring to the next level in the next locker room, team, and community if you were to reach that?
I think one of my best characteristics is pushing people past their limits and doing things the right way, because I'm a big believer. I know I'm young, but I think doing things the old-fashioned way, especially now more than ever, everyone's so focused on like what's in it for them. When's my next picture on Instagram going to go up? I think having good camaraderie with your guys on your team and getting things done in practice, I think that's probably one of my best characteristics is getting things done.
And I couldn't agree with that more. Holding your teammates accountable regardless of how old you are, what age, freshman on through senior, having that mentality. And, camaraderie, it is so important because, if you don't have camaraderie as a team, you can have all the talent in the world and, it can never reach that next level. You'll win some games because you have flash in the pan. But at the end of the day, it is a team game from start to bottom. If the guys in the trenches don't make their blocks, guys like you can't get the ball. If you're not, holding on to the ball on goal line time or, third and short, fourth and short, and you're fumbling it, then a defense is always going to be worn out running out there. And, I think it's just such a team camaraderie and a team game. And I think that's why I love the game of football the most. It is an off season when you're pumping those weights and sweating it out and, running and rooting on your guys to come across that finish line, one more time, pushing it, doing those push-ups until those guys finish and you all coming together, clapping it in, bringing it in, breaking the huddle. And, sweet, sweet, sweet Friday nights coming out, all together in that most amped up moment of your life from now on to the day you die. There's really nothing like it. It'll be hard to replicate. I promise you, I've done a lot of things. I've got kids. I've been married. I've had big time moments in the Marine Corps, but there's nothing like coming out with your teammates that you've been working for months and months all on the same thing and, enjoy it while you can because there aren't many Fridays left and there's never a guarantee that Saturdays will roll. So, I promise you, I personally think that you'll make it to the next level. I can't wait to have you back on the show, especially when you do. Hard work perseveres. You're definitely going to make that next breakthrough. And we love having you on. And I'm going to ask you a little bit of a fun question here. We ask everybody kind of a fun question. You're in spooky season right now. October 1st is in the morning. Is there a particular scary movie or thing you like to do in the month of October with you and your friends that you continue doing, or is there like a tradition that you rock and roll Halloween or Halloween time with?
All right, so your first question, my favorite movie, Halloween movie particularly. This is a very cliche movie, Hocus Pocus. I don't know if you've heard of it.
You don't know if I've heard of it. That came out when I was a kid. Yes, I've heard of it.
Yeah, me and my family watch it every single year, and it never gets old. So,
as does my oldest daughter, Jordan Jr. Watches it every year, and I have no complaints. I'll watch it forever every year myself. What about a favorite activity? Is there a haunted attraction here in Ohio that you like to hit up, or is there something you like to do?
Not necessarily. I'm a pretty simple person, but one thing I pride myself on every Halloween is getting me and my brother at least. We try to go out. We go anyway. We go out and trick or treat, and we always promise each other that even till we're 18, we'll go out and trick or treat. So we're not ashamed.
Hey, I'll still pass out the candy for the effort. I still dress up as an adult every year and still try to get a couple of my buddies to get together. Mine's always been Kings Island. I always go to the haunt. I've been going to the haunt since the late 90s when it was owned by Paramount. I'll continue to go to the haunt to this day. And I'm dragging my kids along with us this year. We'll see how that goes. And it's going to be a good time. But, yeah, I think having a little tradition, having a little something in your back pocket, especially around holidays, is something important to do. You can't be just weight room in class. You got to break it up a little bit when you can. Otherwise, everything is going to get monotonized. But
yeah, for sure.
Landon, 1,100 viewers tonight live so far. We've covered a lot of ground. We've covered a lot of things. You said your little brother was somebody that you kind of looked up to in the sport. But, my kind of last question for you, with the team that you're on right now, is there a moment that stood up for you either in this season or a season in the past of the 2 years that you've been there where you feel like you and your teammates, really arrived, really gelled together? Or is there like a legacy win that really stands out in your mind?
I think something that stands out was here recently we voted for captains, and they voted me in, which it really meant a lot to me. It meant that my leadership meant something to them. So I think just having that belief from my guys, it means that I can believe in them even more than I already did, obviously. But I think that was really a standout moment this season.
Hey, that's something I've never experienced in my life, but having the team captain, having the C on your chest, that speaks volumes, and I think that speaks volumes for anybody listening, especially on the next level. I think you have all the talent in the world to move up, and I'm glad you shared that with us. Is there any saved rounds or anything you want to tell? We're up to a little bit over 1,100 viewers right now. Anybody listening about Landon Hittle that I haven't touched on, or anything about your career that you would want to highlight, or anything moving forward before we end tonight's broadcast?
I just think that if you are watching right now, I think you should definitely keep an eye on Old Berg. I think we got a good thing going on right now, so it's definitely special.
Well, there you have it, folks. This has been a great interview. We are at about the 30-minute marker. I appreciate your time, sir. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for coming on short notice. I know we kind of put this together a week ago in person, and I think it went great. I'm glad we got you out there. I will have this on my page posted. We'll have you highlighted on your page as well, and we'll definitely get it out there. We'll be on YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it these days. We'll definitely be on there. And, thank you again, Landon, for coming on. We will definitely do a follow-up when the playoffs roll around, especially when you get that first seed announcement. I'd love to do a follow-up, whether in person or stay in touch with you and your team throughout the season. I'll have your scores posted every Saturday morning as fast as I can get it out there. And this has been the Maxon Report. I'm the coach, Jordan Maxon. This is Landon Hittle. We'll definitely be in touch here soon. You all have a good evening. And go Reds here in a little bit. Out.